Why, hello there. My name is Mountain, and today I'd like to talk to you about this. And what is this, you might ask? Well, this, my friends, is the Hybrid Pack by Here and Now. As the name suggests, this is a 25-liter, expandable, 25 to 31 liter actually, pack intended to serve a dual role as a hybrid EDC and all-in-one travel pack. This is probably a bit of a lesser known fact that was actually funded on Indiegogo, where it was known, I believe at the time, by the Soul Search as a Soul Search series by a small company known as Here and Now, whose website, as far as I can tell, seems to primarily sell, curiously, drinkware and this bag and a pouch. Now, its main claim to fame is probably that it offers a ton of features at quite an affordable price. And you can already start to peep some of the different features on this bag. There's a ton on the inside as well. So it's at the time of the recording, it's actually available for well under $100. I think $79 right now on their website, which may make it as one of the most affordable bags I've ever reviewed, let alone one of the most affordable all-in-one travel style bags. Now, despite the price, as I mentioned, it has tons of features that you usually see in many class-leading bags. So you've got like a quick stash pocket, compression straps, expandable capacity, a hidden water bottle pocket, bottom shoe pocket, things you don't always see, like a built-in TSA lock, attachment points for like messenger, shoulder style bags and straps, hip belt, tuck away, stowable. It has all the things. It has so many things for the price point here. And I really think that that's probably like its biggest claim to fame. Now, this pack also has some areas of weakness. One of them is I think the material selection could be better. Some of those things, like this kind of material that I'll talk about in the material section, maybe like a personal preference. It's not cheap, it's just not the best hand feel. But also some of them I would say are more objectively maybe not as good. Like the air mesh is really rough and there's a lot of stiffness in the pack, even though I've kind of used it for a little bit. There's also fit and finish issues throughout the pack. Again, not terrible, doesn't usually impede on usability, but just things that I noticed where you can see the price point kind of reflected. It's available in two colorways, Onyx, which is what this one is, and then also I think Midnight, which I think, but it's not, I'm not sure, it might be a different material way, but it doesn't actually say clearly on the website, but it looks like a different material way, which is a little bit of a darker black kind of fabric. So before we go any further, I want to take a moment to thank Here and Now Supply for sending this bag over for review. To be honest, like this pack was not on my radar at the time, but I always appreciate small companies trying to bring new things to the carry game. And they were very polite and understanding of my sporadic kind of posting schedule, so I was happy to try this out. All the disclaimers here apply, like all the opinions expressed are my own. Here and Now Supply won't have a chance to see this video before it goes live. So, with that having been said, my friends, let's talk about who this bag is for and who it's not for. So I think, my friends, that this is going to be a bag that's going to be well suited for one-bag travelers on a budget who still want a capable, feature-rich bag. I just showed you some of the features that, you know, can get the job done. Feature lovers, also along the same lines here, people who like the kitchen sink, people who like bags that are maxed out on options, people looking for versatility and carry style. This is going to be not a bad choice for you either. Yeah? And finally, people who are interested in one-bag travel, but aren't sure if it's for them, and they want to start dabbling without breaking the bank. I actually think this could be a good initial starter bag for people who are like on a budget and are like, yeah, you know, like I don't want to spend $300-400 on a bag. Yeah, all right, let's look at this. Now, here's who I don't think this bag is for. I don't think it's for people whose needs skew more towards EDC than like one-bag travel, what I call OBT, because I'm really clever with metaphors, or not metaphors, with abbreviations. I think that there are going to be better bags for people who are looking for a daily driver EDC bag. This is very much a bag where you go point to point with it, and then when you're at the destination, it's kind of, you know, small enough that it can get away as your like local, your local EDC destination use bag, especially if you compress it. I think people who are looking for maximum capacity to size, or particularly capacity to weight type bags, this is not going to be a great bag for you. Neither is it if you're a person who uses a lot of packing cubes or other internal organization. Like, this bag expends a tremendous amount of materials, but more importantly, weight. This is a heavy bag on structure, features, and padding, like at the expense of like absolute capacity. But there's some nuance to that. I'll talk about that inside of the main kind of section here. And finally, people who care about the small details or the refinement and or gram counters, well, I mean, obviously I just told you how heavy this bag is, or people who value design and the carry experience above all. Like, it's not an ugly bag. It's certainly like, I think it's kind of cool in the sort of like, you know, semi-high-tech, like, it's definitely a cut above like a lot of budget bags. Like I said, there's gonna be these fit and finish issues. The overall carry experience is not as great as a lot of other competitors in the space, albeit, you know, this is a much lower price point. So I don't know if this is going to be the most refined bag for people like that. So next, let's talk about the structure of this bag and the outside appearance and all of the things. The materials, I already mentioned the materials, but let's get right into the body fabric here. So this is kind of a rubbery feeling. It's listed on the website as a GRS certified 900D recycled PET type of plastic, water resistant TPE, PVC coating bag. The thing is, I think you know it, it's sort of like a robust fabric. It's a heavy fabric. It doesn't feel that great in the hand, but that's kind of like a personal opinion, I think. Now, it doesn't stretch much either, which can be a good or a bad thing depending on your preference of bags. I'm not going to say one way or the other. Now, the positive point, or positive points, but the number one positive point is this is water resistant and pretty stain resistant. Like I had a bunch of like white stuff on here from like, I had like dragged it across, or I hadn't dragged it, but like I had knocked it over and it slid a little bit on like, I just had like this white junk all over it. I just wiped it off and it just came right off. So like stain resistant, water resistant, and fairly robust, albeit in like in a brutish way. So as I mentioned, this is the onyx colorway. It's a slightly grayish color. There's also a darker midnight black colorway out there. You got this Wujian hardware on here, YKK zippers, although I do feel like the zippers are like they're smaller than they probably should be in some of the areas. Like, you know, it's YKK, so good quality reverse coiled zippers, but like reverse track zippers, but they should have probably used a slightly larger zipper, like a number 10 or something like that on some of these capacities here. But good stuff here, right? The overall fit and finish is okay. And I'm gonna tell you what I mean when I say it's okay. Let's open this up here and give a few examples. The okayness. So like if you get inside the bag, there's a lot of like just loose threads. I cut a few of them. Here's another loose thread here. Another example of like an odd fit and finish issue, and this is maybe jumping ahead of myself. This is the internal divider flap. It's supposed to be able to roll up, which means, and then secure with these Velcros. The problem is the Velcros, this one should be sewn on this side, the loop side. So you can't, like, you have to twist this thing like this. I think that's just they missed QA or something like that. Anyway, like you can hopefully see, like the Velcros don't line up. There are other areas where like, here I said more threads and stuff coming out here. Anyway, you know, just a little bit of odd fit and finish issues. Now that said, this is a physically heavy and boxy bag, which actually I like boxy bags, especially for one bag travel. And you can see it stands up, which is amazing. I love it when bags stand up. Let's see if we can lower this down a little bit here. I love it when bags stand up. Super easy to kind of just set it down next to you in the airport or something like that. Great. So it has this definite like structure, and it has like this water resistance, other than the fact that like it has the holes on the bottom for like the shoe pouch, but whatever. Which means that I feel like this is a bag, like, you know, you can set it down on the ground like this. It's not gonna flop over. You can set it down on the ground like this, even if there's a little bit of a puddle. Anyway, so good stuff overall. As I mentioned, this is a 28 to 31 liter bag, which is an interesting size and literage range in my opinion. So 25 is pretty small for a one bag travel bag, but it's perfect for an EDC size bag. And 31 is on the smaller side of one bag travel, but it's perfect for kind of efficient one bag travel range. And there's the zipper track that I'll show you here. So if you open this up like this, you can see you get a bit more expandability here. A couple things about that expandability is that it's only a little bit of expansion, which actually I like, because a common problem with bags that expand is like when you expand them out, like they've got this like floppy fabric in the middle and then like the front of the bag kind of droops. This bag doesn't droop even when it's expanded out, which I like, because it's just a little bit more, just enough to let you squeeze in just a little bit more stuff, but without like all the flop or droop or whatever. So one last thing that I'm gonna mention that they don't actually seem to talk too much about on the website, but I mean, there's a couple photos, and so I guess you can catch it on there, which is like this bag can be carried in 3 ways. Now the obvious number 1 way is the built-in backpack straps, but these also tuck away, which I'll show you in the backpack strap section. And the reason that you might want them to tuck away is because you've got like this padded handle here where you can kind of carry the bag. Don't hit your fingers on this TSA lock. We'll talk more about that in a moment. You can carry it in briefcase style mode, especially with the straps tucked away. And there's also like attachment points here for like a messenger strap. Mine didn't come with a messenger strap or like a messenger shoulder, so your crossbody shoulder strap, but you could attach any kind of D-clip or gate clip type, strap there and carry it like that. So interesting that it can be 3 ways in there. All right, so I've alluded a couple times to what I think is one of the more unusual features on this bag, which is the built-in TSA compatible like lock, and that is this thing right here. Mine is set to the super secure passcode of 000 because nobody will ever figure that out. It works just like any other kind of built-in like TSA luggage type combination lock. You just set the thing, pop the thing, it pops open. TSA or anybody with a TSA key can open it. And if you're a fan of the lock picking lawyer channel like I am, you know that you could he could probably pick it with like the whisper, with a gentle whisper and like a fluff of dandelion. So I wouldn't trust this for anything, but it's there if you want it. Now, some interesting things about this, and I think that sets up maybe a recurring theme on this bag, which is there are a ton of features. They all kind of do what they're supposed to do, but when you try and look one level deeper, there's some it's a very shallow implementation of a feature. So what are we talking about here? So there is a TSA lock, and now the obvious thing, and this is not unique to this bag, is like anytime I see a built-in lock or even lockability, which don't get me wrong, is nice to have. I like kissing zippers with like you can run a wire lock to them or something like that. Those are nice, but like if you see something like this, like this is a heavy piece of hardware, like that has like it's physical and bulky. Like it only secures the sorry, let me finish one thought. Like it doesn't make a lot of sense on like a fabric bag because the only thing it prevents is somebody from taking something out without you noticing. But if you check this in, they don't care if you notice or not. You can just slip the bag and take out whatever you want. It's a fabric bag. If you're in a cafe or whatever, like it's a very like narrow slice of person who won't pick up your entire bag and walk away with it, but would be willing to like open the lock and take out your laptop or something like that, or without, I don't know. I don't know what the use case is for having this built-in thing in here. Like if you're gonna check the bag, don't leave your laptop in it ever. And if you are gonna, and the reason I say that is because the only thing that this locks is the laptop compartment. Oops, you can see the zippers are kind of sticking there. The only thing it locks is the laptop compartment. Now, there's some downsides to this lock. One of them is if you use you can already tell this is the expandability track. So if you expand the bag, you can see this zippers don't reach anymore. So, okay, can't use that. But on top of that, let's recompress it here, close it like this. And you try and grab this handle, like my hands, my knuckles got chewed up by these, lock. These, you kind of see it from the side here, so like my knuckles get chewed up by here and by this, and it's this kind of hard plastic and metal thing. Anyway, it was not very pleasant to have that right there. Next, let's talk about more features starting with these front pockets. So this is, my friends, the front of the bag. And in the front of the bag, we have not one, but 2 front zipper / pockets. There it is. And they're fairly shallow. You can kind of see, like, they go down to the bottom of this compartment. They're shallow, I mean, in depth. There's not a ton of like built-in leakage, but they do have a little bit of gusseting, so things can you can put a little bit of bulky stuff. It's gonna be a little bit of fight, so more usable than like a Go Ruck GR1, GR2 / pocket, but like only just barely. Now, there's a couple other things here, and you notice this in other places of the bag. Like the entrance to this is a little bit tighter than you might expect, even though the pocket itself is full width. Same on this one here. And the other thing is, because this material doesn't really stretch, like it is pretty tight. Like it's a tight, things fight for space against each other. And so all I really have in here is like a toothbrush set, some lotion for your hands, and a couple of pens. And I think that's it in here. I would normally throw like some masks or something flat in there. I personally, there's no other organization. It's just, just a regular pocket in there. I personally wish they had chosen just one pocket direction, either a top loader or probably better yet, a side full length / pocket with a zipper, like you would see on almost any other kind of clamshell style bag. Maybe put a little bit of organization there, put a little bit of literage independence, or not even organization, just put a little bit of liter independence in here. Especially given like this tight material, you kind of want that, I think. And that would have been ultimately a far more usable bag that didn't like always fight for space against itself. These gussets do kind of help keep the rain out because these aren't waterproof zippers. Now, the next pocket we want to talk about is this side water bottle pocket, and this is in fact a water bottle pocket. So we go in here, you can see it actually goes on the inside, and I can't quite fit it in there because there's stuff inside. That's the first problem with this, because it intrudes on the inside, and I'll show you all this stuff when I get in the main compartment here. It's really hard to use. In fact, you can't use the water bottle pocket. So I kind of wish that it was like a traditional, like external, you know, lay flat mesh type water pocket, or gusset one that you could just kind of slide it in and carry it around. Next, let's talk about the bottom shoe pocket. It opens up in here, and I got the bag full, so that's why it's all kind of like coming out like this. I'll show you all this on the inside when I like get into the main compartment here. It has a built-in shoe pocket. It's all right, I guess. Like the fit and finish is, and this is true also for the interior water bottle pocket as well, is kind of so-so. Show you all that here. 2 holes for drainage, or like ventilation, I should say. A non-waterproof zipper at the bottom. So again, when you put this down in a puddle, I find that's a little bit weird. And they're not the only manufacturer that like makes like highly water-resistant bags that puts a shoe pouch with 2 holes and non-waterproof zippers on the bottom. Nice thing is again, if you're using like a gym bag in an EDC situation, which is actually a case where I think this bag would excel, then it makes a lot more sense and makes good use of that central area there. All right, so now let's talk about the next external pocket on this bag. That is the top quick stash pocket. This is the top of the bag. This is where this bag started to get a little weird for me. Weird in an interesting way, but I didn't read much about it before I started using the bag, so I was like taking it back. So, all right, D opening quick shell pocket, that's fine. Opens up, got my phone in here, iPhone 13 Pro. I got some Master and Dynamics MW70, no, I don't know what these are, MW08s. Yeah, that's right, that's where they are. And then you got this tight, kind of a little bit tight zipper mesh pocket. I happen to put my chapstick and my alcohol in there, hand sanitizer there. I don't like putting it in there, but the reason I do is because this pocket gets weird real quick. What's happening here is what I said the first time I opened this pocket. What? So, what this thing is, and you can see here, it says like signal blocking. The idea is, and this is, I think, made a lot more sense back when this must have been on Indiegogo or whatever. You just got this kind of metallic foil line thing, is when it was called the Soul Search series, and I presume like one of its selling points was like, you know, get out in nature by yourself and away from the signals. You're supposed to put your phone in there, or devices, zip this up, Velcro this together, roll this thing up, and then within 10 seconds, according to the literature, all signals are blocked. Now, I appreciate innovation. I appreciate people trying to do a neat thing. I'm not sure why like modern phones would need something like this, because, you know, like again, you have airplane mode on here, so you just turn off all signals from that. There's some implications of having this. First of all, like it takes up a lot of space on this internal, like this is mostly a quick stash pocket. It takes up a bunch of space. I'll show you on the inside here. Like this is deeper than most quick stash pockets, but most of it is filled with this thing. This thing is fussy, and if you're in a hurry, it kind of ends up jumbled in like this. And then like the reason I have my chapsticks and stuff in here is because I found they tend to get like lost under this fabric, and then I was always like fighting for stuff. Like it's not like as it's fussier than it should be, and a quick stash pocket or quick access pocket is supposed to be the one pocket on a bag where like friction needs to be almost zero. Like, cause you just drop something in there, so it's supposed to be quick and stash. And this, you can see this is a real thing. When the bag is filled, just like when I'm traveling, this was a little bit, you know, just not, I wasn't a fan of that. So next, let's talk about the handles and straps on this bag. This bag has several external handles, which I like. Bottom loop handle, top loop handle, side knuckle bruising handle with this TSA thing, and nothing on this side here. This one is padded. decently sewn in, like with bar stitching, but no like reinforcing bar or whatever, though you do have the TSA knuckle chewer on here. You can carry a briefcase style, sufficiently padded. I think it works for like short distances, and it's nicely located in the center of the bag, so it's, you know, it doesn't like cant to it one way or another. These here, at best, I found them useful for portering the bag like this, or moving it from one bed to the other. If you try and pick it up by the top handle, like it cants really badly like this, you can see. And it's very like simplistically sewn here. It's just like a single piece of, you know, sewn over webbing. I mean, it's better than just like non-sewn over webbing. It's a little bit comfortable, but it's not like a comfy padded handle. This one, same thing, but just a little bit smaller. They are very handy for like when you've got the bag, like if you imagine on the overhead bin, you can just kind of grab this and pull it out. Again, that's robust material, means that you're not worried about doing that here. So overall, like I think it's fine. I'm glad that there's 3 handle points here. I do wish that the top handle were a little bit more padded, a little bit more in the top center. I understand why they couldn't do that because of this quick access pocket, but there are ways to solve that, which is like, one, not a D-shaped pocket, but like a single slit, and then it goes vertically into the bag, you know, like you see on a lot of the airbags, that lets you put like a comfy center aligned padded handle on it. But again, to be fair, they had a certain kind of design problem they were trying to solve with this RFID pocket, so that's why they went with that style of the bag. The other straps on the outside here are going to be these compression straps. They're okay. And when I say they are okay, they don't compress the bag down as much as they really could, like, because you see here, like, it didn't find in practice that it actually gave me that much compression though. And the reason why is because you can already kind of see the way that where it attaches is just on the center part. You can also see kind of why, that's why I remember this. Like you can see, this is why I stopped doing that, I remember. It kind of pulls at the threads here. I'm sure it's not gonna rip. Actually, I don't know. I'm assuming it's not gonna rip. It didn't instill me with confidence. And I think you see that whenever the attachment points of a compression strap are like on the inside of 2 zippers, which are still, you know, under a lot of load or pressure. This one is loaded out. Now, the trade-off you get for that, and the reason probably why they did this here is because you can compress the bag, but you can still like access the laptop, you can still expand the bag. You have to do it like that to expand the bag without a lot of like fuss and muss or whatever. I did like that the compression straps do open up like this, which is nice. But here's another thing that's interesting, right? Why would you want to open up a compression strap? Usually the case is you have something bulky you want to like, you know, run through it, and rather than trying like it just barely fits, you want to open it up like this and compress, you know. So if you want to like strap a yoga mat or whatever to it, and they're like they open up decently. Now, the thing is, a very common use is, I would say, especially in the one bag travel community, depends, but I imagine there's a good overlap of people who want to carry like, particularly a tripod. And when you want to carry a tripod in here, a very common thing to do is to have a bottom water bottle pocket, external. You'll remember that ours is internal on this bag. And what you do is you can put like one leg of the otherwise heavy tripod or delicate tripod in there, or if it's a big enough water bottle pocket, the whole thing. And then you can like clip the, you know, the top compression strap or 2 over it. And then that like really stabilizes it. It's a really nice way of carrying a tripod for like, you know, one bag travelers who are also photographers. This one doesn't have the external water bottle pocket, so it kind of limits what you can do with these, you know, unclipping compression straps. And then the trade-off of the clippy clips is, that means the minimum you can ever compress really is like, or the maximum, I guess, is like the width of this entire bucklage assembly, which would be much smaller if it was a single one-way non-opening kind of compression strap here. And you also have these weird little dangly, and they're not removable either. So it's not bad. Like I'm glad that they're there. They sort of function here, but there was a lot of like different conflicting, I think, ideas that were or problems that were trying to be solved with this kind of implementation of the compression straps. And I don't know that it really solved any of them really well. And they're not terrible. It just sort of, I found I didn't use them that much, and I just kind of dangled a lot there. I wish that they had chosen one very like defined problem they were going to solve with the compression straps and gone for that. Either they're going to go for maximum compression, or they're going to go for like, you know, hey, we don't have, they're going to like maximum utility, so we're going to put a water bottle or some sort of pocket here. You could run a thing in there, stabilize it in there or something, or like we're just going to like go for like minimal, you know, compress them or make them like removable, whatever. Anyway, brush straps. So next, let's talk about the shoulder straps, my friends. So the shoulder straps on this bag are made of the same, you know, kind of PVC-ish material as we see in the other places and on the bag. And then it's got this air mesh on the back. Same thing we've got going on the back panel. And the first thing I'll say is like, you know, like I said, I used this for a couple months. Like it's a stiff bag. And the biggest problem I had is like right away, like the air mesh is really rough. And it like, and this is stiff. Sorry, it's a stiff shoulder pads, which is all right. They broke in a little bit, but still. But it's really rough, and it like cut into my neck a fair amount. Like, it definitely got softer over time, so I'm sure if I continue to use it, it will, you know, break in more. I just kind of, you see a lot of other shoulder straps have like the no edge, or they have like really soft materials on the edge so that it doesn't hurt, or they like kind of patterned a little bit more. You can already see like it kind of, it just, maybe they're not so stiff, but like this one was just like a really rough, like it, I wish my neck wasn't breaking on these shoulder straps. But anyway, it was decent-ish to carry. The stiffness kind of helped distribute the weight over there. And they're like, you know, decently well appointed, right? So you got the, you know, same thing, Woojin hardware, elastic built in, to allow flex on the sternum strap, slides up and down this rail, really nicely well implemented. And these shoulder straps have an interesting feature, which I'll talk about here in a second. Before I do that, actually, sorry. And I previously alluded to, they have this part of the thing that chewed into me, which is like this transit card slot up here. The idea is you're supposed to be able to slide, pretend this is like a, you know, like a transit card or whatever, slide it into here. But like, I swear to you, like it's, I'm not pretending, like this, you can see it's right here. This is what it's like. It's not easy to get it in there. It's like too tight. And now imagine you're doing this, but like it's on your shoulder. So you're like fighting here, it's cutting into your neck. You're kind of trying to jam it in there and the fish to flap over. Like and oh, sorry, one more thing. It's like, this was like up really high on me. Like just in an odd spot, I would have wanted to see it like lower here. I just felt that placement-wise, size-wise, material feel-wise, as it sawed into my neck a little bit, wasn't the most pleasant. But to be fair, like you don't need to use this thing, and I didn't in fact use it. I just tried it out a couple times. I was like, well, that's not gonna work. And I do think that maybe if you have like a narrower neck than I don't think I have a huge neck, or you know, maybe you just give it some time. You know, maybe it won't cut into you. It might just be like a body structure thing. It might not cut into you as much as it did for me, and certainly will wear it over time. Now, I already was kind of talking about the other cool feature of this, which is well, first of all, adjustable built-in elastic strap keepers. Like to see that. Like that's cool. Like nice little feature. Like they have all the features you expect, and sometimes they work really well, like the sternum strap and like this thing, and sorry, this elastic keeper or whatever. And this is another thing that I think worked pretty decently. Like these Woojin buckles like unclip, and the reason they unclip and clip, I should mention, super easily and securely. Like always felt secure. I never felt like they were going to unclip by mistake. I like that. This is a good buckle. Is you can actually run it in through here and tuck it away through the top of this thing, and it's a little bit of a struggle, right? Because it is like it's two independent channels here. The bag is packed up a little bit. You can see like it's two channels here. So, but it tucks away nicely like this. This one also has a little corner where you can tuck it in there. And then that cleans it up if you want to carry it in briefcase mode or whatever. You can have your, obviously I'll always tucked one away, like this nice clean panel here. Now, as you can see, there's a little bit of a fight to get it in there. I've seen other bags where they have just like one big opening that's a lot easier to get the straps into. It's also because these are a little bit stiff. But the cool thing about this is, and we're getting to another thing, is like at the bottom of the bag here on the back, they have this flat pocket. They say it's actually to store your passport and stuff, but what I find it's way too tight to do that. But what I found it was really good for is like just quick stashing this, and because it's a little bit stiff, a little bit tight, it actually holds the shoulder strap super securely. I like this a lot. I found myself doing this a lot, and then carrying the bag in briefcase mode, and it doesn't come out. I don't usually do this with my straps, like bags that are three-way. Like I don't usually carry them like this because it's so fussy to put away the shoulder strap. Because this one was so easy to stuff it in there, it was like, again, like super easy to pick it up and carry it in briefcase. So I found myself actually doing that more with this bag than I would with most other bags. While we're back here, the back panel is decently stiff, as you kind of saw. Like you can kind of hear it, but not like super hard. And it's actually in here is where most of the stiffness is. Not a ton of like air channeling, but a little bit of like, indentations and valleys and whatever. So that actually does help a little bit for like ventilation. The air mesh, as I mentioned, is super rough. There is also a luggage pass-through here, fairly stiff here, and then one on the bottom here. It actually was actually pretty stable on top of a trolley. I like that. I don't like the Velcro, like it was a little bit fussy, but it's fine. That's what you want. And then finally, the last thing to mention on here, I would say, before I talk about the comfort, is it has these two loops at the bottom for like a hip belt. I did not have a hip belt come with mine, so I didn't try it out with that, but you could probably attach a hip belt with any kind of standard D or gate clip. The carry experience was okay. Like it's a big, square, bulky bag. So when you load it out, even though it is pretty compact and dense, like it does, you feel it. It's not uncomfortable, especially for like, airport type situations or whatever, especially you don't have it super loaded out. It's going to be like a great, like fine carry. I wouldn't say great. It's going to be like a fine carry experience. There are definitely bags out there that carry a lot better, especially under weight. And again, I feel like if the air mesh weren't so rough, or maybe it wasn't my neck, or whatever, like it might have been a little bit more like, from the beginning, okay, but it will wear in over time, definitely. One last thing about straps, I kind of mentioned this already. There's a couple attachment points here for a shoulder style strap carry. It didn't come with mine, so like I didn't try it out, but you can attach any kind of shoulder strap on there. So next, let's talk about the EDC compartment here. I already kind of gave you a quick preview of it in here. So this front compartment opens up. This is the front of the bag. First thing is you got your key loop here. I'm going to take my keys out there. And let me talk about the first thing I like about this is like, it's got this gusset. Like that's awesome. Like a lot of times with like kind of these front types, they'll flop open all the way. Like this one lets you get in really not, or else like they only open a little bit and then you can't get into all the pockets to the bottom. Like this one's a great combination of just like, I love this. Boop. Great. Secure, but you can get all up in your business. So this is definitely for like the EDC stuff. There's 4 stretch pockets done right, just simple, stretchy, easy to access, no like weird narrow zippers. I've got in here a Bellroy note taker. I've got in here my passport. Again, they say that you're supposed to go down here, but there's no way that's going to fit in there. I mean, that's not true. It will fit in there, but it's just too stiff to access. And then down here at the bottom, I don't think I have anything, but usually you can put like a power, like power brick or something like that. Also at the bottom of this bag here, it's going to be a little hard to see. There's this fleece lined pocket here, facing towards the front of the bag here. It's fleece lined. I wanted to put like a tablet in there, especially because I didn't really like, there isn't a dedicated place for it in the laptop section, but I found that the keys would bang into it, so I just didn't. But I think you could put like some sunglasses or something, I don't know. And there's a little bit of space in the main volume, not a ton, but a little bit there. So you can fit a lot of different stuff in there. It wasn't really like a place to put like long flat papers here, or as it turns out inside of here, we'll talk about this. Then in here you've got like the standard, like here's like slid the bag down here, one zippered pocket, got my Bellroy Apex wallet in there, a little bit of random organization things in here. You can put the keys in there if they're small, otherwise they kind of dangle around here. My keys, because I have a car, so it has like the remote. It just didn't really fit in this pocket here, but if you only have house keys, I guess you can put it in there, and then you can use the tablet type of, I don't know if it's a tablet thing, but this fleece line pocket, maybe you could put sunglasses in there or something, whatever. I found that this, like, I like these stretch pockets. I like this bottom fleece thing, even though I wasn't quite sure what it was for, but you could kind of use it to like keep the bottom organized. I felt like this part here could have used a little bit more thinking. Like, this is odd. Like, there's just one slightly shallow, oh, here's a little bit more fuzz. You know, a slightly shallow, not stretchy, tight pocket. I mean, this will fit, but just barely. Maybe your phone's supposed to go in here. I put mine in the quick stash pocket, but like, there was no place to put like my earbuds, which is why I have them up in the quick stash pocket. They kind of just bulge weird here. Like, I don't know who carries like random credit cards or business cards they're supposed to go in here. I guess they could go in there. It was a little bit odd for me. Not bad, it just could have used a little bit more refinement, a little bit more thinking, I thought. But anyway, overall, that's the front EDC pocket. Glad it's there. So then let's talk about the laptop compartment. So that's in the back, secured by this TSA lock. There we go. Pop it open, and then it opens up like this. And you know, I wish it opened up a little bit more. Like, I did find it was a little bit tight. You can fit a fairly big, you know, 15, 16-inch laptop in there. There is like one kind of padded compartment here that kind of helps cushion it against the inside. This is the front of the bag, back of the bag. This part already has the frame sheet. This part has a little bit of like cushioning here. There's no strap over it, so you gotta be careful like it does if you know, especially if the bag is too filled out, like the laptop doesn't just fall out. This is a MacBook Air. You can obviously fit a larger laptop in there. There is no dedicated tablet compartment. It's just this divider. I guess you could put one thing on each side, but the odd thing was there's no false bottom on this bag. And this tablet compartment is not, or laptop compartment is not actually suspended off the bottom. It's sewn all the way here. It does taper a bit, and there's a little bit of a seam here, so like it kind of cushions your laptop, but there isn't actually like padding at the bottom, and there isn't explicitly lifted up off the bottom in the false bottom, which I thought was odd, right? Like, it's something you would have expected to see, especially in a bag that has like every other feature under the sun. But anyway, that is in there. I didn't find, as I mentioned, a place for a laptop, for a tablet, and I didn't find it was really easy to get business papers or like a folder in here, like especially when the bag was packed out. But you know, you can get it in there. I don't mean to say you can't. I just thought it was a little bit odd. I'm glad that it's externally accessible too. Makes it easier for airport type stuff. Okay, let's get into the main part of the bag. Bottom of the bag, top of the bag. This is, I'm going to refer to it as the interstitial compartment because that is what it is. On this side, on the inside of the front lid, behind the EDC material pocket, you have these two big stretch pockets, which can actually hold a fair amount of stuff. The mesh isn't the stretchiest, but it's actually all right. But curiously, like the zipper openings like only go this far, even though the pockets extend further. So that, and those aren't stretchy, right? So that they definitely pose like a limit on like how big of an item you can fit in here. The pocket can hold something wider than you can actually get through the zipper pocket, or at least without like running the risk of breaking. I did definitely like, I tried to stop like a big tech pouch in there, and I was kind of like, oh, I think I'm gonna rip the zipper. Anyway, it's nice that it's there. Even though I wish those zippers were a little bit, yeah. You can already see this thing, which I talked a little bit about here, and I will talk about more in a moment. So now you're in this kind of front divider area. So if we look at the bag here, top, open this up. You often see this kind of thing on like bags of like this three-way style or briefcase style. It kind of like just kind of keeps the main compartment area separated from like, you know, the other business seat part or whatever, other parts of it. Now, the thing that you usually find though here is a full-length zippered pocket with a little bit of dimension usually. And that's gonna be for something like a business, you know, like a business shirt or like a dress shirt that you wanna keep flat. Business papers, man, would also go really nicely in there. Things you want to like broad and flat, you want to keep that way, and that makes a good use of this like otherwise kind of like, you know, one function type of like, you know, flat thing that keeps your stuff private. This one does not, for some strange reason. It has, I mean, not strange, this was strange to me. Like this, another one of these, you know, half pockets here. So you have three half pockets. Nothing here, there's nothing here. There's no like hidden zip and something in here. I'll talk about that in a moment here. It's just flat. And then you have this interstitial area, which you can already see because I got the main area kind of like filled up. Like there's not a lot of like independent leakage, almost none. Like if the main compartment isn't filled out, you can get a little bit of stuff in here, but there's no security for it. It's just kind of like it's there. So I wasn't 100% sure what was the purpose of having this interstitial area, because you could lay a dress shirt here flat, but then it's going to get wrinkled. It should really be inside of like a flatter pocket. Or I guess you can put your papers on here and just it's there when you open it up. But anyway, just a thing I noticed. And we get into the main area. And I've got this packed out just like how I had it packed in a trip here. Let me unload what I have in here, and then we'll talk about all the things that I haven't had. Bellroy, this is the premium DOP kit because I was feeling bougie that day. This is like a tech pouch and stuff, a little bit bigger than I usually carry, but it was a kind of a busy last trip here. I have a Leica Q2 in there. I have a little North Face glam pouch, a little doodads in there, little knickknacks. Got a hair iron because you got to look good or else it don't matter. And then here I've got my exercise clothes and some shoes in an Air shoe pouch here. So, and then I've got just an Air packing cube with some clothes in there. So opening that up and you get into the main compartment. And my friends, remember I told you, I was like, hey, I'll show you all about the water bottle and then the shoe pouch and all the things here. Well, that, when I get in the middle, well, now that time is named, my friends. So right away, this is, can you see what's happening? This is the main area, and it is like being invaded by a bunch of different interior gusseted pockets. You can see the top quick access pocket. Remember I told you all about that RFID or wireless blocking pocket? You can see like how much bulk it takes up in there. Normally like these horizontal ones make really efficient use of the space because like they just lay right up at the top, so usually they don't get in the way. This one's kind of big and it's bulky and it does intrude into the packing area. This is the side water bottle pocket, which I previously alluded to. And you can see takes up a good amount of space, and it kind of sags, which I thought was a little bit, whatever. I mean, that's a weird nitpick, so it's not, I won't nitpick about it. But anyway, good thing about it is, in the EDC use case, this main compartment is usually the one that gets underutilized in a bag like this. So having like this or having this in there kind of really lets you use this normally unused space when using this bag in EDC. So that's kind of like a benefit. Now the con is, in the one bag travel case, like you can't use the water bottle pocket, and if you were to put shoes in here, that's actually most of your capacity. You also can kind of like fights for space against each other, right? So if you put all three things in there, like there's very little space left in here. Anyway, nice thing about the shoe pouch is it rolls up. It's a solution you usually see like in the Mystery Ranch type bags that have built-in shoe pouches, but it's not, so that's nice. That kind of gets out of the way-ish. Not as clean as like what you see like in the Air Duffel Pack V3, where it's like this pocket that just falls flat and totally disappears. But anyway, there's no way to stow, there's no way to stow this water bottle pocket as far as I can tell. And then there's this center interstitial pocket, as I previously mentioned, which if you don't want it, you can roll it up. Except then, like I said, the Velcros don't line up. So like you have to like twist, at least on mine, I have to like twist it around like that in order to stow this out of the way. Now, I'm assuming that if you got the Velcro sewn the right way on yours, the nice thing about that is it actually lets you use this main compartment, if you like directly access it without having to deal with the interstitial flap, which is nice in the EDC type use scenario. Whereas in the one bag travel scenario, you probably want that interstitial flap, closed, so like it kind of helps compress and separate your stuff. So I thought that was nice, right? Like that was an interesting little bit of like, like functionality and that. Downside is you got this weird flappy thing here. You will also notice that the bag stands up, like it's nicely structured. It is easy to load this bag because it has these structured kind of walls. I really like that about this bag. And again, you can, unzip it and then like put a little bit more space, get a few extra liters in there, and it's even easier to load it and then kind of close everything down, compress it down, whatever. One other thing is it has this like kind of elastic, standard compressor or whatever on the top to stabilize your clothes or something. I didn't really use this, but it's nice to have it there. But look at how easy it is to load this bag. Just drop things in there because you do have this, nice sidewalls that help stand everything up. and then everything can just kind of lay right on top like this. Here, and I'm going to put the camera here and here. And then you can deploy the kind of side compression thing if you want to kind of get the extra bit of like, you know, get everything kind of squished in there like this, and then flip the lid and easy to close it up. And so in summary, this is a very affordable pack that seems to throw in every feature under the sun. Like the main trade-off for this, as I mentioned, is it seems to like, you know, the fit and finish isn't that great in some places. There's not a lot of depth to some of the features, and it's fairly heavy, and the material might not be for everyone. But that having been said, like I think in the carry game these days, it seems like many of the most popular bags are fairly expensive, and like they seem to keep getting more and more expensive. And they're all like from these big well-known name brands, which is great. Like these are high quality, great stuff. But it's easy to get carried away with like gear acquisition syndrome or like getting on the hype brand chasing train. And it's also really easy to start normalizing spending hundreds of dollars on like a backpack for one bag travel or whatever. And recently, even like on Reddit, I've seen people complaining about the perceived cost of getting into the one bag travel game in particular. And it can be like this high cost of entry, especially if you're not sure it's for you, especially if you just kind of read or see what a lot of popular reviewers are reviewing out there. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to spend $200, $300, $400 on a bag to like one bag travel. It's not at all the case. Like what I like about this bag is it shows you can still get a ton of features and a pretty useful form factor for not too much money. And like to be clear, like there are many, probably most other of the popular bags will give you a better overall experience. But if you're looking to get started on a budget, I think that this hybrid pack might actually be worth a look. So if you're in a bag for a market like this, what are some other bags that you might want to consider? First and foremost, there's the Air Travel Pack Small V2. Same general concept as the hybrid bag, just, you know, from, you know, Air, which is a very well-known company. You've got the same kind of like, you know, big flat EDC section, and then you've got like the same kind of like wide open central loading section in here. You got water bottle pocket, separate external laptop compartment, shoulder straps with all the fixins in there, hip belt attachments and point, slightly better padded handle, side zipper pocket, not water bottle pocket, but also external expandable water bottle pocket. And you can see like on here, like Air went like, you know, with fidlock buckles, a lot lower, a lot smaller kind of profile, so they kind of cinch tighter. You can also, you know, like secure things like tripods or whatever through this water bottle pocket and then loop it up through here or whatever. Nice big front dump pocket and like a much better kind of like quick dump pocket. So I think that when you look at, you know, a bag like this, which is like 28 liters, I think like this is going to be like a, you know, a really great bag to go with. I would say like if you're looking to, you know, step up the game, you have a little bit more money to spend on the hybrid pack and you still want that same general form factor. If you like the kind of like rigid structure of it and the kind of slightly artificial feeling kind of material or whatever, this is the Peak Design Travel Pack 40 liter. There is a smaller 30 liter one that's probably going to be more compatible with the hybrid pack in terms of the size or whatever. You're going to get all the same things that you like that you might be liking in there. So stowable shoulder straps, but they just stow away a lot better, a lot faster. Structured kind of bucket style dumping. Obviously you can see here there's a lot of like more space to put stuff in there, whatever. I think you can see like you can roll this interstitial material away here. If I can, there's an interstitial flap in here, but it can actually roll away and tuck it to this hidden bottom pocket, etc. So you can see like the same general things there, but just like much more refined, but again at a much higher price point. The Black Ember Forge, this thing I think is like the same like genre of like tons of features, kind of a high-tech material, though I definitely like the feeling of this one a lot better. It's a lot more organic, lots of customizability. This one's not, the hybrid pack's not customizable, this one is. Three-way thing, you got the briefcase, you've got really nice tuck-away shoulder straps that also have similar, kind of a little bit of a rougher air mesh on here. I've previously reviewed the Black Ember Shadow 22 liter, and I raved about kind of how nice it was to stow their shoulder straps. Like it definitely, you see that here, luggage pass through here. You also have, you can attach, you know, a messenger style shoulder strap. Front compartment with internal organization, big flat thing. Front main area with a bunch of pockets here and here, including big flat, lay flat type pockets here. You've got this interior interstitial divider with a long flat meshy thing, and then you open that up and you've got the main compartment for all your clothes. Expandability of the main compartment. You can see, get a bunch more leakage in there. This one gets a little bit floppy there, and then in the back you've got a separate big laptop area with tons of pockets or whatever. So definitely the same kind of spiritual idea as the hybrid pack. And so really, that's it. If you have any questions about this bag, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. And if I can, I will answer them. And if you have any bags you'd like me to review, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. And if I can, I will review them. Thank you very much.